in Annapolis. But for now, Huntington, West Virginia, the site, as we welcome you to ESPN College Football, presented by Geico. The opponent for the homestanding Thundering Herd is Eastern Kentucky, a team that didn't have its schedule set until August the 21st. An FCS team going independent, so they've been gathering film on one another in the last couple of weeks.
Hi, Jason. No question things look different here on the field and in the stands, but I'm happy to report that all EKU and Marshall personnel have been tested 3 times this week per Conference USA guidelines. If you see them here on the field, that means they have been given the all clear to play in today's game. A couple of things worth mentioning for all games this season. Anyone on the sidelines must wear a face covering at all times. The team box has now been extended from the 25-yard lines to the 15 on both sides to allow for more social distancing, while only one team captain for each will be present for the coin toss. Players tell me, hey, it's not ideal, it's not the norm, but the added responsibility is well worth it if we get to safely play college football this fall. And for these two teams, guys, so far so good.
We are happy to have the game back, and Alexander Wozniak is ready to tee it off. And off we go from Huntington, West Virginia. Sheldon Evans back to return for Marshall, and he is across the 25-yard line. The Conference USA Player of the Year last year, a kid out of Columbus, Brendan Knox, a bruising running back, Andre.
Yeah, he shows you exceptional vision and speed to go along with it. Really blocks well, so he is the complete back. I think this kid could really go anywhere and have the same type of success that he's having at Marshall. Over 1,300 yards, led Conference USA. He will be fed, Jason, early and often in this ball game.
You know, the good news, Andre, for Marshall is the guy who returned the kick, Sheldon Evans, is also a very capable tailback they want to see get touches today as well. As Marshall out of Conference USA goes to Knox on a first down carry and a couple of yards to set up second down. But Grant Wells, redshirt freshman quarterback from just up the road in Charleston, an hour away. When he was 1 year old, he was so cute, little Dan Marino fan in his Dolphins jersey. He was slinging it at a camp at 6 years old. This kid can throw it, and he runs a 4.5 maybe.
Man, I like the eyes down the field at 6 years old.
You can't teach that stuff, right? He's going to hand it off this time. It's third down coming up, but it's been a long time, Andre, since they've had a local kid running the offense as a flag comes down on this play.
25 years, Jason, to be exact. And it was Mark Zbon, whose son, Luke, is the backup quarterback for the Thundering Herd.
Tim Cramsey said Grant Wells told him he wanted to get an early completion. Tim said, you go do it yourself.
That's how you get settled into a ball game.
One more time for Knox, and they let him ride on the first 3 plays.
Big line moving the pile here early for Marshall.
There's that early first completion. Brock Thompson cutting outside at the 40-yard line, and a first down for Marshall for the sophomore from Indianapolis.
Well-timed tunnel screen and excellent blocking on the outside. That's an easy way to get that first completion, to get your footing set or get yourself set in a football game.
Calm the nerves a little bit. Now he's going to throw it again on first down, and he's got another completion. This is Willie Johnson, his senior. And look, confidence growing for Grant Wells.
Tell you what, Tim Cramsey doing a nice job of mixing the run with the throw, making Eastern Kentucky think Brendan Knox, and now they're opening things up.
Knox again with a gash across the 25.
And when you get in third and short, fourth and short, that's where they'll go, behind the dump truck.
Wells, the freshman, loads the time. Down the middle, touchdown Marshall. Xavier Gaines, the tight end, scores it.
And that is a way to start a football game and in your first start for Grant Wells. 3 completions, and then to top it off, the third being a touchdown pass to Gaines, who is kind of their do-it-all type player. He's played wide receiver, he's played tight end, he's played running back, quarterback, he's done it all.
in a season where so much is different and so much may be odd, to hear even some people cheering at about quarter capacity for a football touchdown is a very warm feeling. Xavier Gaines from the freshman Grant Wells. So much for angst. A whale of a drive for Marshall on the opener in 2020. I thought you were going to say all big backs want to be small backs.
They want to run like small backs.
And the first passing play gets crushed. Parker McKinney got popped on the sack by Darius Hodge. Loss of 9.
Well, and that's the pass rushing ability of Darius Hodge.
And violence must stop. That's the statement from Eastern Kentucky's players before the game today. And Marshall gets a stop here to set up 4th down. And Andre,
just let everything soak in, and you know the difference between what's right and what's wrong.
On a 1st down, Grant Wells, the freshman, pitches it upfield, and Brock Thompson once again slicing inside. His 2nd grab for big yardage, and a 1st down for Marshall, gain of 26.
Well, they told us he was a mature player, excellent route runner on a crossing route, and then was at New Hampshire, coached with Chip Kelly. I think a lot of people know that name and the success that Chip Kelly's had.
Downfield again, another 1st down hit inside the 20-yard line, and that one goes to the reserve tight end, Devin Miller.
11 catches a year ago, but they are using this crossing route, and it's obviously something that they have detected on film. But Thompson has caught a crossing route, and now Miller pretty much the same, just coming from a different position.
Knox inside the 10. You're talking about Tim Cramsey, the offensive coordinator. He, like so many of us, decided to use the quarantine time earlier on in COVID-19 to pick up a new skill or hone his current skills. He went back and watched a bunch of film, including Phil Longo at North Carolina and some of his old stuff at New Hampshire and beyond, and said, you know what, I kind of like the other stuff we were running too.
In the summer and fall camp, was able to do that about 5 practices in.
On the ground, and a pile driving, still going. Oh my goodness gracious, did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Brendan Knox. Wow.
The job the dump truck does. Kane and Madden, the right guard, just continues to push and push and push. He's getting, all of a sudden, he's in there. May take a look at that. It looks maybe just a little short. And remember, all the ball has to do is touch the line. They do one heck of a job of pushing.
At Jones C. Edwards Stadium in Huntington, West Virginia, about 12,500 people in the stadium and well spaced out with rows in between. The max size of a group can be 6. So Marshall doing everything it can to keep people safe and have people in the game as well. Pringle on the return. Quentin Pringle, tailback, is past the 20-yard line, and it's a 1st down coming up for Eastern Kentucky. But the stadium protocols, to detail them for you, in Huntington, West Virginia. You see the group size, rows in front and behind groups will be empty, as you see staggered throughout the stadium. 2 seats to the right and left are empty, but there's room for popcorn, which is good news, and attendance limited to 12,500. So Marshall trying to keep everybody safe and also allow people within safety guidelines in the football stadium. And we told you in the open how important football is in Huntington, West Virginia.
Takes a back pedal, you hitch it up at 6 yards, and it's an easy completion.
Here is the man they call the bus, Alonzo Booth.
If you can get some blocks on the outside for Parker McKinney.
Booth is drilled. Keon Dixon, the reason you got to get him the 4th down, McKinney now scrambles, and he's dropped at the 36-yard line.
Guess who? Tavante Beckett made the play before, and another big play by the tackling machine that wears number 4. I mean, he can kind of sniff out where the ball is and and advance himself to the runner or quarterback. In that case, the guys just kind of embrace you as the quarterback of the football team and one of the leaders, and they will fight for you.
Oh, wide open man. Easy does it for Garrett Morrell, the third tight end to catch a ball for Marshall in the ball game in the first 12 minutes.
That's a tight end at 6'3", 251 on a corner route, and a nice job of stopping him with the football, because Josh Hayes might have had a play on it had he kept running to the corner.
Now Sheldon Evans, one of the leaders on this team, on a first down carry at Garrett Morrell.
Boy, I love this throw. It's a corner route, and he just stops him with it. So you see number 12 falling back into the play. If he continues to the corner, then Morrell's going to run right into his vicinity. But with the throw, you stop the tight end with the football and allow him to make the catch. Then he can do whatever he wants to do with it after, but you're making sure that he has an opportunity to catch the football. That's good work.
Outstanding start to 5 different receivers for Wells. This time off his back foot to the end zone and got another one. Touchdown Marshall, Talik Keaton.
A preseason All-CUSA pick, and the coaches are expecting a big year from him. That same corner route, reads it, and I mean, it is thrown with exact timing. You see the corner trying to fall back into the route. If it's thrown a split second later, it's either an incompletion or an interception, but I think everyone involved has done one heck of a job of getting us to this point.
Quentin Pringle in the backfield, and look, college football is not going to cure everything about COVID-19. We all know that, but to have the sense of normalcy, I've seen this in Major League Baseball, just to see the angles you're used to in the stadium and to see the Kelly green jerseys for Marshall and for EKU, to see their players on the field, there's something a little calming and hopeful about watching this game.
It really is, and the players want to play. They want to be on the field, and coaches, administration found a way to keep them safe and make them feel comfortable.
McKinney under duress down the field. There were 3 green jerseys, and it's intercepted by Nazeeh Johnson, the senior safety.
And a former walk-on who just kept pushing and pushed his way right into the lineup. He has the most experience on the back end, so you're not going to fool Nazeeh Johnson. I tell you what, that looked like he was the receiver where it was thrown, and the catch that he made. It's a nice job on the back end.
Wells again down the middle, has one more, and Xavier Gaines, the tight end who scored earlier.
I couldn't be more impressed with an abbreviated camp, no spring, and the timing of Grant Wells. It tells me a couple of things. Number one, he's a heck of a player and quarterback, and 2, Tim Cramsey, the offensive coordinator, has really coached him up well, along with Nick Matthews, their quarterback coach. The timing has been unbelievable.
Gaines is in to take the snap, and so he's a quarterback, he's a running back, he's a tight end, and Tim Cramsey said, personnel-wise, doesn't matter who's on the field, I don't change my calls except for that guy.
Yeah, he's the Swiss Army knife. Comes in, run a little bit of option here, a little zone read, and heck of an athlete at 6'3", 200 pounds.
Beautiful day in Huntington, West Virginia, and Marshall has played very well in its first quarter of football this year in a 21-0 score against Ohio Valley Conference member but independent this year, Eastern Kentucky. And here's the spread of college football in this 2020 season. Big Ten, MAC, Mountain West, and Pac-12 postponing their season. You see the 6 leagues in the FBS playing now, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But for now, we have college football slowly starting up to the SEC on the 26th, starting their season at that point, as Knox on the carry picks up the first down for Marshall. Who are you most excited to watch in their first game this year in college football?
Texas A&M. I think they're very underrated.
What do you think of LSU?
Oh boy, I think they're way overrated. 5 starters return. I mean, I know it's.
They will run it, and it's Evans who churns the legs, and this is going to be very close. Sheldon Evans on the run, and he is right near the stick.
That is really close. Evans, who they like, they have no hesitation putting him into the football game. The playbook does not change when he enters. It's the same as when Knox is there.
He's got the first down, so Sheldon Evans, who they said is one of the leaders of this team, you stand him up before the team, and he's the guy talking about COVID-19 protocols. He's the guy talking about individual choices and making sure you're making team choices as well. This is the 13th play of the drive. And so it's Wells turning the corner to set up third down and goal. Grant Wells, redshirt freshman out of Charleston, West Virginia, and George Washington High School, about an hour away. He was a baseball shortstop. And by the way, he comes from the same high school as the actress Jennifer Garner.
Well, Tim Ramsey told us that's where he's going to surprise a lot of defenses throughout the year, is his ability to run. He's got about 4 or 5 speed. Quiet leader, never gets rattled. The opportunity to pave the way to pick up a first down.
Fourth down coming. Wells drops it into the end zone, and a touchdown. Beautifully done to Garrett Morrell, and Marshall continues to cook.
Excellent play call. When you have everybody, you've gone to that before, and I set it up behind the dump truck. So Eastern Kentucky's thinking it's going to be Knox to the right. The play fake.
Goodyear. How good has Grant Wells been in his first start for Marshall, Andre?
Just about perfect there on a rollout. He's proven he can do it from the pocket. A nice timed touchdown pass to Gaines, and then the corner route was just a straight dive to Keaton, his receiver, finishing things up with Garrett Morrell, the former quarterback. So you talk about that's about as good a start as you could have to a football game, making your first start. 10 of 12, 182 yards, and the 3 touchdowns. And he just looks like he's just having fun. No big deal to Grant Wells.
Not at all. Quentin Pringle on the return. And for the first time today, we check in the studio. Who left it short about 2 yards. And so Thomas Cook to punt. Talik Keaton back to receive. Keaton, a very dangerous return man across the 45 to set up Marshall on a net of just 25 on the return. Nestled against the Ohio River, Huntington, West Virginia, a lovely setting for college football. Eastern Kentucky trying to get a stop here defensively on a third down.
That'll be their first stop here during this early in the ball game.
Down the middle, got a dagger. Talik Keaton into the red zone. First down, Marshall.
Boy, Grant Wells has some toys around him in which to play with. Just a straight 9 route. You get behind the defender, and the ball is placed perfectly for Talik Keaton. Now you've got Thompson that's made a catch, Keaton, Willie Johnson, Xavier Gaines. Boy, he is spreading the football around.
That is a literal 9 route, by the way. It went 2-9. Talik Keaton. It'll be a 23-yard field goal for Marshall and Shane Chuchi. With a strong pedigree of kickers at Marshall in recent memory, that one slices through. And it's a 31-0 lead for Marshall, and a big play, Talik Keaton, Andre.
Just straight down the field, and you love it when a receiver can come up with.
Today's Aflac trivia question: How many schools have an undefeated FCS and FBS season? Don't have to think for long. It's one.
Not
it's
long.
Marshall. You're watching them right now. And 1999, that's just 2 years after they went FBS under Bob Pruitt, they won their third straight MAC title at 13-0. They beat Clemson on the road. Woody Dantzler, Rod Gardner, and Clemson took a loss to Marshall. Chad Pennington, Byron Leftwich both threw passes that season for Marshall, and they went unbeaten, basically heralding their arrival at the FBS level, even though they were 10-3 just a couple years prior to that when they joined up. But 1999 was too early for the internet, so they didn't claim a national championship like UCF a couple of years ago. Final rank, that seems like they got gypped a little bit at 10th, unbeaten.
Yep. And they bookended that season with a win over BYU, who at that time, obviously, they were rolling. Their program was still rolling. So impressive.
You've got to have teams that are good that actually want to play you. I know it was tough for UCF to schedule, and these things get scheduled so far in advance. It's not your fault if you schedule a team you thought was going to be good and they're not good.
And that's the problem, because once you get good enough, nobody wants to play you. I mean, Boise State for a long time, people started dropping them from their schedule. They wanted no part of what was going on with Boise State.
Even though Boise is a lovely, lovely place to go in the fall and winter.
With a defensive line, it's quarterback sneak this baby.
Oh, they're going to go deep handoff, and that is a bad idea. Booth dropped, and Tavante Beckett shot the gap.
And when you do that, you allow for penetration. Beckett on the end of that, but they get tremendous penetration to stop Booth in the backfield. Marshall's football.
Andre, what do you think about this play call here for Marshall?
Sudden change. I mean, you just had a big defensive stop. You've got the ball in plus yardage territory. This is shot time for me. It's a bonus possession. I would go straight up top if I'm Grant Wells.
Here we go. Wells, the freshman, uncorks down the middle. Oh, they hit it, Andre. You were right on it. Touchdown, Woodyard.
Oh, what a throw and what a catch. And it just set itself up just perfectly. You got a defense back on the field that feels like they shouldn't be. They run the post route over the top, and Woodyard, one of the faster receivers on this roster, gets behind coverage, and the ball could not be placed any better from.
Has spread it around so much. What does this do for this offense moving forward?
Well, I tell you, it's hard to know where you're going to get hit as a defensive coordinator. Can hit a home run for you when need be.
Marshall with some pressure there. This one goes out wide. It's not going anywhere. They're going to try and pass it, and that was ill-fated to say the least. Tell you what, don't sleep on North Texas either. Seth Luttrell, one of the great young minds offensively in college football, as well as just keeps on slinging it. And there's Brock Thompson.
Very mature young man in his approach to the game.
3rd down and 1. Little slide step by Knox. That was nifty. Oh, a little gymnastics for a 1st down.
Yeah, he just kind of has the instincts, Jason, that I believe he could go anywhere and play. Yeah, that little jump stop. Now, who talked about Barry Sanders? That's a move.
And how about Grant Wells, the Thundering Herd?
For the Heisman.
Just slinging it.
Get him in the convo now.
I mean, he should probably be in the conversation. 5 touchdown
Pennington
passes.
who? Yeah.
271 yards, 4 touchdown passes in the first half.
The Kelly green jerseys of the Marshall Thundering Herd. If you're interested, Pantone matching system color number 354, which leads us to today's Colors of Tradition, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. And if you talk Marshall, you got to talk Randy Moss. He was unacceptable for opponents in college football.
Just made it easy for Chad Pennington, and boy, every quarterback's dream to throw to a receiver like Randy Moss. The speed, the athletic ability, the change of direction, all of it, the hands, throw it around him, and he makes catches for you. You don't have to be perfect and hit him in stride. He will make plays for you.
Well, you saw him break the ankles of Marco the Bison at the end of that play. Marco was trying to get out of the way, and he took a fall. Randy Moss at Marshall, Bolitnikoff Award winner 1997, single season career receiving touchdowns. I mean, this is in 2 seasons, Andre Ware.
Amazing. I tell you what, he's probably thinking right now, Grant Wells not a bad quarterback to represent his alma mater, the way he's spreading it around. But if you got one like that, you got to find a way to take care of Randy Moss.
Oh, you have to. I mean, he is
no
in some ways base of the program, as Grant Wells, the redshirt freshman quarterback, in his first start shows some escapability and zigzags his way for a first down. They said, his offensive coordinator Cramsey said he ran a 4.5 once, and we see the speed there.
Yeah, this is where the part of his game that Coach Tim Cramsey said it will surprise some people.
Speaking of the quarterback position and a nod to Marshall history, just a couple of days ago, Marshall offered the son of Chad Pennington, Cole Pennington, who wears the same number, plays for his dad in high school. They offered the junior quarterback, the younger Pennington. Maybe once Wells is finished up in his career, it'll be another Pennington under center. This is a very proud football tradition. Troy Brown, Ahmad Bradshaw, Pennington, and Leftwich on the same team at one point, and Randy Moss.
We saw the picture with Leftwich and Pennington as teammates, and then Randy Moss, you see there, holding the record with 54 TDs. He could do it all.
On the ground and Knox, the Conference USA MVP last year. The running back out of Columbus has a first down for Marshall.
Had some success between the two of them.
Wells giving ground, and he spins it to the sideline, and he's got a completion. Brock Thompson right on the edge, hauls it in.
They're keeping you off balance. You think the running game, they show the play action, and nice job with the footwork along the sideline by Brock Thompson.
They are 12-3 in bowl games all time in the FBS, and there has been no drop-off really. Yeah, they will give him the first down on a 4-minute-plus drive for Grant Wells, the redshirt freshman quarterback. From Charleston, he slings it to the sideline, and he threaded it through to Xavier Gaines. What isn't going well for Grant right now?
What a throw, and it's the timing. You see how tight it is to the outside, away from the defender, and you got to give some credit to Xavier Gaines as well. It's tough because you don't have the offseason like most teams. We're not, things have been a little different, to say the least.
There goes Wells down the sideline. He's inside the 10, first and goal on the wheels that time for 24 yards.
But to put a bow on that, it's just the timing of the offseason where you spend all that time repping things out with your receivers, and then you add this to the mix, and Marshall's they're going to have a pretty special offense this year. Grant Wells, along with all the receivers that we've talked about, an experienced offensive line, 5 seniors up front.
Evans backs in, touchdown.
You get down inside the red zone, inside the 10-yard line, turn things over to the big grunts up front, and they've done a nice job of moving bodies for both Knox and Evans. Man on man here, they're just moving bodies, and you see the dump truck right there getting tremendous push.
Today, college football returns to Huntington, West Virginia, and it was 50 years ago on November the 14th that a plane carrying 75 people, coaches, players, staff, administrators, community members, crashed on the way home from a game that Marshall was playing against East Carolina. And 75 people passed away on that flight, and the remembrances are all there around campus and around the hearts of folks in Huntington, West Virginia. And just talking to players and coaches this week getting ready for this game, when you come to Marshall, to a man, they all said that immediately you learn about the history of this program and why football emotionally means so much. And talking to Brad Lambert, the defensive coordinator who has been here twice, he had befriended Red Dawson, who was one of the coaches who wasn't on the flight and instead drove home from that game, and just talking about the pain that Red Dawson had felt. And obviously everybody in that on that flight memorialized in the movie We Are Marshall as well. But just hearing players and coaches talk about it, it is something that they take so seriously and so deeply, and it has grand importance on a human scale to play football in Huntington, West Virginia. It's a very touching thing, but certainly a painful experience for everybody as they remember 50 years ago. Pringle is slung down, and for more on Tavante Beckett, here's Katie.
Well, Beckett's an interesting story because he's making the most of his career here at Marshall. After being suspended his sophomore year at Virginia Tech because of a marijuana-related charge, Beckett believed his dream of playing football at the FBS level was over. Yet Marshall co-defensive coordinator J.C. Price disagreed. Price had recruited Beckett out of high school, taking time to get to know him and his mother, Carol. Price ultimately sat him down and said, "Toe the line, take care of your business, and you can play here like I know you're capable of doing." Beckett tells me he hasn't stopped thanking Price and the Marshall coaching staff for giving him a second chance. Every day he puts on his pads is another day to prove one mistake does not have to define you, Jason.
And it certainly hadn't defined Tavante Beckett. He has made the most of this second chance, and he had one heck of a 2019 season. We mentioned it, 121 tackles, and he has been all over the field.
Well, look, the only tape on him from last year was one fake punt, so they can only watch it on loop so many times. As Marshall will run it on first down, and Grant Wells, you look at the numbers for him today. The redshirt freshman, first career start. He's from about 50 minutes away in Charleston and George Washington High School, and he was superb.
I tell you what, 4 touchdown passes all came in the first half. 280 yards in the first half, finishing up with, you see there, 307. It's fun to watch it.
Tell you what, Marshall's got a deep running back core. Knowledge McDaniel has himself a first down.
Luke Zaban, it's a run and kind of taking some contact, and then you kind of settle into a football game.
Down the middle, first down, and Marshall moves the sticks. Shadid Ahmed.
Yeah, I was the same way. I needed to get hit, but here, Luke Zaban right on time, and that just tells you that Nick Matthews, their quarterback coach, has done a heck of a job coaching up Grant Wells and Luke Zaban, both with precision in terms of the timing of how they're delivering the football this afternoon. And you know you've done your job when this early in a ball game, you can get the subs a lot of work.
Around the edge, Papillon, touchdown.
At running back, the second string offensive line is in, but yet you're still getting results, and that's going to bode well down the line for this Marshall team as they get through the season. We talked to Doc Holliday. He said, hey, we got to get third team guys reps, because with COVID, you never know when you're going to have to play somebody. So they all got to be up to speed on what we do offensively, and we can't have any drop off. And hey, what, it's pretty impressive with this second group.
Not many pass breakups in the game, but Stephen Gilmore, wearing number 3 for Marshall, is the brother of Stephon Gilmore of the New England Patriots as well on the backside of that defense. Gain a 10 on the first down.
Knowledge McDaniel, he is moving piles. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, his father, Mark, who was a quarterback at Marshall for a couple years in an interesting time. Their first year in the FBS was 1997. Mark threw 21 passes that year. The year before, in '96, he threw 55 passes. So he kind of bridged the gap as a reserve quarterback for Marshall, moving up to the FBS level, where they were so successful very quickly. People forget that, Andre.
They were, and went on one heck of a run for a while there. And it's one of those names, you know, back in the day, you'd almost kind of think of them in the same light that you would think of a Boise State in today's college football world.
Zaban on the run, puts his head down and has a first down. I know you love that as a former quarterback.
Love it, love it. You put your body on the line for your football team. You know who loves that more than even us watching a game? Is the 5 guys that are blocking up front. They'll get over there, help him get up, get him back in the huddle, tap him on the helmet, and then they start playing harder for you. And guys like that, you eat with them, sit there and listen to their jokes and crack a few of your own. It's just, you know, just kind of meshing with them.
We heard some of the guys on game day talking about Alabama-Clemson again. You think we get Alabama-Clemson, or is this the year that breaks up?
I'm not as high as I have been on Alabama as in previous years as well. I think.
And 2nd down and 2 for Marshall, and Zaban going to run it himself. And boy, is he getting in the thick of it late in a game that is not in doubt. Wow.
Getting some sweat in that uniform. Nice. I like the cuts.
Yeah, you don't know who's going to be taken out due to COVID-19 and contact tracing and all that comes along with it. As Marshall scores one more time, it's a touchdown to make it 58-0, and nicely done for Amir Richardson, the 4th tight end, to catch a pass this afternoon.
Luke Zaban right on time with the football. That's, I think, the thing that has impressed me across the board for this Marshall offense.
Many faces of a first-time starting quarterback. He was amped. His deep ball was fantastic. Some high fives for his skill position guys, and the celebrations continued for Grant Wells from Charleston, West Virginia. And for Grant, his parents were able to be in the stadium to watch the game. Tammy and David are with Katie George.
Thanks, Jason. David, Tammy, I can only imagine the range of emotions you had this week leading up. How did you expect today to go, David?
Oh my goodness gracious! I didn't. You just pray that it goes like this. You know, you look up. He worked so hard all of this time that he's been here, and you just pray that something like this happens, and that he has a great day. As a parent, you just want him to go out and do well. You know, but it's been unbelievable the way he's been able to come in here and represent Marshall today. His opening game, to be able to come in here and represent the state of West Virginia, represent his local high school, George Washington, and be able to come in here and do this. Last night you pray, and you just hope that this is the way at 4 o'clock this evening, that that's the kind of way it works out. So
Mom,
it's wonderful.
Nobody knows better how hard he has worked for this very moment. For you, watching play after play, touchdown after touchdown, what is it like for you?
You know, I mean, it's my baby, and he's worked so hard, and he's always dreamed of this one moment, and he's always said this is what he wants to do, and it's here, and it's happened, and it's over the top. I mean, it's just crazy.
He told me he would have some jitters, but clearly he has not at all today. Congratulations to both of you. I really appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome to hear from the Wells family. Very proud of Grant and a Marshall lead.
And then Cincinnati, I think, is a team that is poised for a big year. Luke Fickell,
an outstanding guy to talk to about college football. And by the way, don't sleep on Arkansas State later tonight at Memphis. That's the cradle of coaches. Brian Harsin, Gus Malzahn, and spent time in Jonesboro as there's a first down for Marshall. That is the 59-0 dance if I've ever seen it. Huntington's happy to have football back, and Marshall gets a big win over Eastern Kentucky, Andre.
what a day, what a start to the season for Doc Holliday and his football team.